Live from my mother's basement, everyone's favorite YouTube host. Here's Johnny! Hooray! I do have the best intro in the world. It's true. It's true. And I'll take autographs after this video if you like. So here's the thing. Royal Rumble is right around the corner. And just wanted to reaffirm my predictions again, and also wanted to make a response to a YouTube shooter, fellow guy, okayfabeisback. He just did a video about the Royal Rumble and the possible winners, and about maybe rules that need to be changed, whatnot, etc., and about, you know, talking about the 40-man versus the 30-man battle royal, etc. So I wanted to make this video as a response and ultimately, you know, convey what I think makes a good Royal Rumble, etc. Just throw ideas out there, create some conversation. It's always been my mission when I first started my channel to help further the conversation in the YouTube wrestling community. And I thought that I could add positive spin and positive conversation into something that was usually just a bunch of people ranting back and forth about, "You suck, you're a Cena fan, boo!" You know, that kind of shit. So, again, bear with me. I also want to point out that I never use notes when I make these videos. A lot of people might think that I'm not very mentally prepared. I have been hit with a few chair shots in my day. You know, I also have had a lot of cleaning chemicals in my face in my many career paths, working, you know, crappy jobs back and forth. So, you know, try to understand that I might not have everything mapped out, you know, and be as organized as possible, but it all comes from right here. The wrestling is in my heart, it's in my blood, it's always on my mind. And what I give you guys all the time is real. It's nothing that's like pre-constructed, like, "Ooh, I think this, that would sound cool, that would get people to view me." Fuck that! I'm not trying to please anybody out there. I'm just trying to convey my opinion. You know, I could care less if my popularity suffers because of what I think. So let's move right along, get into the video, the topic at hand, and let's talk about the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is my favorite style of match. If you don't know what the Royal Rumble is, you shouldn't be watching this video. It's been going on. This is going to be the 25th Royal Rumble. I'm very excited about this. You know, like some of the other big four pay-per-views like SummerSlam and Survivor Series, they usually don't do as well as like the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania do. And, you know, that's sad in its own right, but I think that's because the Royal Rumble has been a tried and true, it's like a catapult, basically. Whoever wins the Rumble gets the chance for, you know, the biggest prize in the game, and the Rumble is the way to signify pretty much that next guy coming up and up. So, just think back, like, to Royal Rumble winners of the past, you know. And I know everybody says Hogan, but realistically, yeah, I mean, that was the way for him to get back into the title picture after he was not in it anymore. And, you know, he's a legend, so get over it, guys. You know, Hacksaw Jim Duggan has won it. People like Stone Cold Steve Austin have won multiple times, 3 in fact. Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels has won the Royal Rumble and gone on to, you know, capture the title and do great things. You know, it's been a launching point for stars. You know, when Edge came back in 2010 and won the Rumble, it was a pretty big surprise moment, and it's a really good chance to bring the unpredictability, you know, of something together and really create like a great draw and a great match. And I'm never bored with any of the Royal Rumbles per se. I mean, like, I love the action, I love people getting thrown out, and you know, at earlier Rumbles, like, you know, the late 80s, early 90s, I really loved the commentary during the Rumble. I think it's mainly because I was a big Gorilla Monsoon mark, you know, even a Vince McMahon and Jesse Ventura mark, and especially a Bobby the Brain Heenan mark. If you've ever followed any of my my commentaries that I do via Facebook and any of the groups that I'm in, I'm always bringing up and referencing Bobby Heenan. I think he is the best manager ever in the history of the wrestling business, and a definite, you know, mainstay in that Hall of Fame. I don't think anybody will ever outshine him. But, like, you know, thinking about the Royal Rumble, it really gets me excited, because especially with, you know, the lackluster year that WWE has had, you know, really failed pay-per-view buy rates and all that shit, and I guess you can pretty much equivalate that to the lack of, you know, new stars not being built, or at least built correctly and what have you, that this is a good launching point at the beginning of the new year for us to really get behind a guy. And there's great possibilities out there to get behind a guy. Now here's where I'm going to dismiss the rumor that Jericho came back just to win the Rumble. I think that Jericho is a strong enough name without winning the Rumble, without having a reason to have to go after Punk. I think that if he wanted to have a feud with somebody, that they would just go ahead and do it. There wouldn't have to be a rhyme or a reason for it. He would just go attack somebody if he didn't fucking like him, because Jericho's big enough to do that, you know? On the active roster right now, let's see, you have stars like Cena. Who else is built up? Big Show? Eh. Kane? Eh. They're all old. There's no new stars. There's no, like, hey, this guy's fucking electric right now, you know? Like, they don't have that. So, this is a good year to kind of build and compound, you know, somebody into that main event scene and to keep the momentum going with them. You know, 2012 could definitely be some young new stars year. And I guess what I'm trying to say here in about 9,000 words is that, you know, there's plenty of talent on the roster that is, I guess you could say, deserving of a Royal Rumble win, but I think there's only a few safe picks. And the thing of it is like, at the Royal Rumble, they like to surprise us, unless, of course, they're having Randy Orton win it again for some stupid reason. But, you know, like, I legit believe that Randy Orton's out for a couple of months. I don't buy into the whole fact that he's going to come back, even if it isn't his own hometown. I think that they wanted to have him win it, and I think that he was written into WrestleMania, and then they really went like, oh fuck, when he got injured. And so that's a lot of the reason why Jericho is back, to kind of mask that, to hide the fact that one of their main top stars is not there. But to be completely honest with you, I think that they're going to go with somebody that has been built up over the year, like, already. And even though they haven't managed to really build up anybody completely to the main event caliber yet, I think that they're going the right way about it with a few guys. Now, here's my thing, is I know that Miz and Truth are not going to be in the Rumble. They're going to be having their own match. It's a grudge match. So that already takes them out of the equation. Anybody that wanted to see Miz in it again and win, mainly me, you know, that's kind of a letdown on one end, but he already had his title run, you know, and he had a beautiful title run. I know all that shit with Jerry the King Lawler was kind of annoying, but in all actuality, you know, I really liked The Miz as a champion, and I thought that he really carried that belt well. He carried it for a long number of months, and he beat John Cena at fucking WrestleMania, the face of that company. Now, whether or not it was with Rock's involvement, who gives a shit? Put that aside. He was the victor. That was a defining moment, and it's a WrestleMania moment on top of that. How many fucking people can say that? You know, like, they went in the heel champion, they came out the heel champion at WrestleMania against a guy with as much fucking, you know, baby face forced down your throat, force-fed horseshit crap that John Cena has been to us. So, yeah. Forgive me. I'm getting over a cold like I think everybody else is out there. And sometimes I get this really weird frog kind of sound thing in my throat. And I swear to God, if it's one of the Muppets, if it's Kermit down there, I'm going to pull him the fuck out and shoot him. But that's besides the point. So, the Royal Rumble this year is probably going to come down to three people. These are the three people that I feel personally have deserved to, you know, go and launch themselves up into being a main event person and carrying that belt for a while. And let me also point out that I do not think that it's going to be Kane, because one, Kane is an older star, and two, Kane is in a program right now with Cena, and so I don't think that he's even going to be in the Rumble match itself unless he and Cena eliminate each other, which will carry over into Elimination Chamber. I think that the three people that you could choose from this year are going to be Sheamus, you know, the Great White, babyface push, Wade Barrett as a heel, you know, possibly with a face turn down the road at some point, or Cody Rhodes, who has been probably the best Intercontinental Champion in years and years and years. Somebody that WWE has really gotten behind. I've been advocating Sheamus ever since he first got into his feud with Christian. I thought that they were really trying to elevate him and bring him up into the main event. They're the one guy that they've probably done the most work with. Sheamus is a former champion, so it wouldn't be terribly unbelievable for him to be back in that scene, and I think that he really deserves it for the work that he's been doing as a good guy. I know that as a heel, you know, it felt a little bit forced. His promos were a little bit weak back then, and his ring work wasn't necessarily like the best, but that was like 2 years ago. And you know, now that we're entering, you know, a new year and have a new attitude, and he's done a lot of great work. And I really loved when the Muppets were on Raw and he and Beaker got to have their back and forth thing. Like, I think it really showed that, like, he can work that babyface role, and that he's really good, you know, at being on the microphone now. He's a lot more comfortable with it. And also, he's a really big guy, and I like that. You know, I like the fact that you can be a bigger guy and hold the fucking belt, you know? Like, you don't have to just be a monster heel in order to do it. You know, Hogan was a big guy back then, and Hogan held the belt, and, you know, there were other guys that fought him that were big too, you know, not just all these little Rey Mysterio kind of guys, or people like Edge that run around and should probably wear a shirt because they just don't look, you know, big. And I'm sorry to say that it's just not believable. This is, as much as it's professional wrestling and we understand that it's scripted, you know, like, I would like to think that anybody in charge of WWE right now wants to see a guy that, you know, has a few muscles on him that could legitimately pick up and slam the Big Show, as big as he is, you know, or toss Kane out of the ring in the Royal Rumble, for that matter, you know, like. And it brings me back to, like, you know, when they used to have people like Yokozuna that they always teased, like, nobody would be able to throw this guy out of the ring or body slam him. And then you'd have guys like Lex Luger come along that were fucking cut, you know, chiseled out of stone, you know, to do that, and they would get the babyface heat. And I think that Sheamus is exactly like one of those guys. Granted, they really dropped it with Luger, and he kind of fucking faded off into the sunset, and his career never actually recovered or gained any momentum from that. But it's really not important. What's important is that Sheamus is a guy that I think can get it done. Wade Barrett, of course, has had feuds with Orton. He broke off finally from Nexus. He broke off from the core. He's been on, you know, a pretty good winning streak. He's beaten Daniel Bryan a few times already earlier in the year, in 2011, I mean, not this year. And, you know, that would be a good rivalry, I think, between those two, because they were both involved with NXT. And it's just a logical progression. I don't have any bad things to say about Barrett, to be honest. He's at a point in his career where, you know, he's in his 30s. He's only going to get better. And he's got a lot of good years left, you know, if he can stay injury-free. So, I think that he really has this sense of charisma, this confidence on the microphone, the ability to talk, to get himself and anybody else over. You know, and that really showed. Even when in the beginning of the Nexus shit, like, he made people like John Cena because he was so good on the microphone, because he was such a like a natural, well-fitting heel. So, there's that. And then Cody Rhodes, just because if they really wanted to take a guy that's held that Intercontinental strap for a while and, you know, boom, put him up into the fucking upper atmosphere, this would be the way to do it with a Royal Rumble win. Personally, I feel that it's a little bit soon. Like, I think that Cody Rhodes should launch into the main event, like, later on in this year. Maybe a Money in the Bank style kind of thing. Like, that would be a lot more believable to me. You know, also, if they've already established one guy through the Rumble, like a Barrett or a Sheamus, there's no reason that Rhodes wouldn't be able to be that next star that they tried to make in 2012. So there's plenty of time for him, but I really believe that those are the three guys that could do it this year. I don't even think Jericho is going to be in the Rumble. I think that that's just a bunch of hogwash, and I think that all this teasing that they've been doing with his comeback and whatever, it's just going to be directly after the title, because Ziggler's not going to win, okay? And I'm pretty sure that the SmackDown guy is going to win the Rumble and go after the World Heavyweight Championship. You know, that's probably how it's going to go. Cross my fingers. And I'm pretty sure that Jericho is just going to get put into a program with Punk, because that was the whole reason he was brought back. If you agree, if you disagree, if you have anything to say at all, please leave it in the comment box below. I never get enough comments, and, you know, I swear upon the grave of my wonderful grandmother that I will completely get back to any comments that are left. I will, you know, even plug your channel if you want, or whatever, you know, not to kiss too much ass here, but, you know, I really want to create conversation, and that's the whole point of this. So if you want to leave me a video response, if you want to leave okayfabe a video response, whatever, you know, because this is totally a response to him in the first place. Just let's create some more discussion out there, guys. Friendly, focused, positive discussion. I don't want to hear any crap about how Cody Rhodes isn't good enough. You know, that, fuck that, alright? I don't need to hear that. Let's talk about the good things, you know, like, maybe you're a Dolph Ziggler fan. Maybe you think that he's earned it or something, you know? Like, I personally don't, but I'm not going to step on anybody else's toes that thinks that, you know, he deserves to win the Royal Rumble. If you think that, you know, Big Show is going to win the Royal Rumble because that's going to continue his feud with Daniel Bryan, whatever. If, you know, if you think that for whatever reason that Bryan is going to lose the title on SmackDown and then all of a sudden flip-flop back and be in the Rumble and then win, let me know. Just leave some comments, you know, if you want to give it the old thumbs up, that's cool. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and do it. If you want, if you don't, I mean, it's your call. I've subscribed to a bunch of people. I usually try to catch up on the videos. It's what part of being about, you know, active in this community is about, is hearing other people's ideas and sharing your own. So, until next time, you know, this has been me. I've been live from my mother's basement, just like every other time, enjoying myself. Waiting on Mom to make some macaroni and cheese for dinner. I want dinner. So, take it easy, have fun, have a safe new year, and I look forward to hearing back from everybody.